How's it going, kiddos? Good morning. We got a little lesson here on combining like terms. It's going to be very, very simple, but I kind of wanted to start out with a blank page here so we could take some notes before we fire into some of the questions. And like I said, it's going to be super simple, so just kind of bear with me. Shorter video. I'll have a few questions for you to do after the video. But combining like terms is, I mean, we're going to see a lot of variables in math. And the variables always stand for something. Okay, so even if it's an X, even if it's a Y, those things stand for something. X could stand for like bricks, for example, like the number of bricks. If someone's gonna like create an equation to figure out how many bricks they need to fill a space in their backyard to like lay some pavers or something, like they would use X. And so remember, X and Y, whether it's A, B, C, D, it doesn't matter. Like it stands for something. Okay. Now when we're like, let's just say A, and I know that's a horrible A, but A, and I'm gonna go back because I want to change the color, right? Let's just say A is gonna stand for apples. Okay, and I can't wait to get my new tablet. And I just need another P there. Can't wait to get my tablet tomorrow so I don't have to, so I can have some nice writing and have it just be so easy. But A is apples, right? Now you got to understand, if I tell you, like my daughter's super young right now and she's like loves to play with toys. She's only 10 months. So we got lots of toys and we have to pick them up, right? And what we do is like if she has a bucket of certain toys and we dump them out and play with them, and then we're playing with some other toys, boom, boom, boom. When we pick up the toys, we need to pick up the ones that I've dumped the bucket out and they all come together and they go back in that bucket. I'm not going to take, and some people who are sloppy and lazy, they may take some of the other toys and throw them in that bucket. But for me, like if I have a bucket of apples, I'm not going to throw oranges in that bucket. I'm not going to throw carrots if we have the variable C. I'm not going to throw carrots in that bucket. That bucket's only designated for apples. Okay, so what if we have something here? Let me just show you. If you see an equation that looks like this, or maybe I'm actually going to say an expression, because equations have an equal sign and expressions don't. So if I said something like this, 2a minus 4c plus 6a, and I wanted you to simplify that. Now, how you would think of this in terms of just like practical life situation is just saying, okay, I've got 2 apples and I've got a positive 6 apples. Well, what's 2 apples and 6 apples? Well, that's 8 apples, 8a. Now, don't do anything with that a. Like kids will say uh, 8a squared, or they'll change the a to something different. Remember, a squared is something completely different than a. It's not an a. A squared may be applesauce. It may represent something totally different. So don't change that. Okay, now we're coming over here and you're like, okay, well, what do I do with this guy? Well, are there any other C's? Are there any other carrots? No. So this guy you just drop down and our expression simplified would be 8a minus 4c. So I really want you to think, because we're going to slide over here now into combining like terms. And like terms just means like the same things. We want to combine the apples with the apples. We want to combine the grapes with the grapes. Okay, if it's an X, if it's a Y, those things stand for something. And we're just combining today. Very simple. Okay, now I like to use different colors, but if you don't have different colors, I'm going to show you a strategy that I really like. But we'll just start with black here. Okay, and let's look at number one, and we're dealing with K's. And I don't know what K's are. They could be kites. I don't know. But we have K's here, and we have K's here, right? Since we have the same thing, we know we're going to get K, we know we're going to get a K, some sort of K. Okay, now it's up to you to say -6 plus 7. -6 plus 7. And we did this lesson last week, right? Which number's bigger? Is it the 7 or is it the 6? 7's bigger. We're going to keep that sign. So our answer is going to be positive, right? And then all we do is subtract. We take the bigger number minus the smaller number. 7 minus 6 gives us 1. So you could say positive 1K, or if you want to be really fancy, you could just say K, because that's, if just a plain old K is positive 1K. Okay, now let's slide over to question 2, where it's going to get a little trickier. Not too much, but I'm going to show you how I like to do this. Okay, so I have r's here. I do a single line. Then I come over here, and this guy's a constant. He's a regular old number. Is he an r? No, he's something different. Since he's something different, I'm going to give him 2 lines. Okay, now what's this guy? Oh, he's just like an 8. He's a regular number, so I'm going to give him 2 lines. Okay, now we can see the difference between this guy and these guys. This guy is something completely separate. He's an R. He could be rabbits. These 2 guys here are different, right? We're going to combine these guys together. So let's drop our R's down. Let's drop our rabbits down. We'll have 12R. I'll slow down so the writing's not horrible. Okay, and now we know we're going to get a regular old number because we're just dealing with numbers here. Okay, we have -8 minus 12. -8 minus 12. Now, I told you that anytime you have a negative or a subtraction sign, you could change it to plus a negative if you wanted to. Okay, now what we have here is I owe 8 and I owe 12. Okay, if I owe 8 and I owe 12, I owe 20. So it's going to be a -20. Okay, and that's our answer there. All right, now I'm going to do one more before I have you kids start to try some on your own. Now, one thing I want you to notice here is this is an N. It could be anything, right? It could be newts, or I don't even know if newts is with an N, but it could be like nuts, like if you like almonds and peanuts and cashews and stuff like that. So N could stand for anything, really. Okay, but there's no number in front of here. Anytime you don't see a number in front, I want to put a 1. I want to put a 1 there because I have one nut, okay, whether it's an almond, whatever it is. Okay, now we're going to say, hey, this is an N and these guys are N's. Make sure you underline that sign that's in front. Always the sign that's in front is attached to the number. Don't think it's just a plus, okay? It is a plus, but it really says this is a positive 9. Okay, now we can go over here and we can give this guy a double underline and we can give this guy a double underline. So watch what's going to happen here. Let's look at our n's. We have +1n and we have +9n. Well, +1 and +9 means +10n. Okay, now let's look at these guys over here in black. I have a -10, I owe 10, and I owe 3. If you owe 10 and you owe 3, you owe 13. And that is your answer there for number 3, combining like terms. Okay, now, let's look at these guys right here. 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, I want you to press pause. I want you to do 6, 8, 10, and 12 on your own. Okay, and then you can press play, and we'll go over them together as a class. All right, let's go over these bad boys. 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, I've got X's here. I've got X's here. It looks like I need to, I've got somebody else that's a little different over here, a +11. So all you're doing in the beginning, and trust me, this is really important when we get into some like crazy type problems, use this strategy that I'm giving you because it's going to be a tremendous help. Okay, now you're saying, oh, -2 plus 6. -2 plus 6. Which one's bigger? The 6. So our answer is going to be positive, and then you subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4. So we have 4x, and then there's no other guys here. He's the only one, so we just drop him down. Plus 11. Okay? Down to number 8. Now number 8's a little tricky because there's nothing in front of you except a negative. So watch how I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this guy to be a -1v. Very important that you do that. Plus 12v. Okay, well, you want to change that guy. You just do. Trust me. Okay, and you're saying, oh, I got v's here. I got v's here. We have a negative and a positive. So you ask yourself, which number is bigger? The 12. Okay, that's positive, so I know my answer is going to be positive. Big yawn. And then we subtract. 12 minus 1 is 11. So 11V is the answer. Okay, moving down here, couldn't get easier than number 10. I've got P's and P's. I've got 4 P's and I've got 2 P's. That means I've got 6 P's. And I don't like peas. And I'm talking about like the little green dudes. I mean, I eat them. I'll eat anything, but they're not my favorite. Okay, down here, we've got, I'm going to throw a 1 in front of this guy. Very important. I've got ends. I've got ends. And then I've got non-ends and non-ends. You see that? Okay, so let's deal with the ends first. I've got 1 minus 5. 1 minus 5. Okay, I can change this to plus and negative. And you say, hey, which one's bigger? This guy. So I know my answer is going to be negative. And I just do 5 minus 1 is 4. So I have negative 4n. And then you can see that we have this guy, positive 4 minus 9. Yikes. 4 minus 9. Okay, I'm going to go plus and negative. Which one's bigger than 9? So I know my answer is going to be negative. Subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay, one thing you've noticed is that our variable goes first. And that's how I've been putting it. So you can tell in all, because remember, like if you're going to have an assignment after this video, we're going to want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. You're inputting your answers the right way. So for me, if I'm going to input the answers, I'm going to do it this way. So let's cover this really quickly, because if you didn't watch the video, you're going to get the answers wrong. And your keyboard, right? If you're going to input this, I would put a negative, a 4, an N, put a minus, and put a 5. No spaces in between anything. Okay, don't put any spaces. Don't do anything like that. Our variable always goes first. So we want our variable first, and we want our numbers second. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to try and make that very clear, but that's how I want it in the assignment that I'm giving you right now. So go ahead and you can, if you're done with this video, you can exit out, answer the questions after the video, and then you can hop on to the next lesson. All right, later, kids.